Okay, I was really curious going to this game. How our offensive guys would respond with having 11 new starters. They hadn't been together, a long time. We were beat up during spring. We didn't really develop a whole lot of continuity. We've had some injuries in fall camp, and really last week was our first time that we had everybody, together. So I was real curious how our guys respond. I was real pleased with how they did respond against a very, very talented defense with very good coaches. I was really impressed with our physicality. I mean, you got to be physical, against a talented group like that. Our execution, was hit and miss, but they did a lot of different things that, they were daring us to throw the football some. They were doing some things that we hadn't seen on film, and but I was real happy the way we started out. Probably the answer after the touchdown was one of the more important things, in the game. And I think we scored the next time and kicked the field goal the time after that. And then went to halftime. Second half, they made some adjustments. We had a little bit of trouble there for 2 drives, and then we had the big pass play that really, helped things go. And I was real proud of the way that we ended the game, in a 4-minute situation. So we got a lot of things to work on. There's a lot of areas to improve on, but overall, I was real pleased with the way our guys played.
Brendan?
Gavin's touchdown run, his physicality, effort, and then the awareness and effort of other guys too. Is that what when you're talking about Smash Mouth? Is that what you're trying to do?
There's no doubt. That was late in the game, and I like to believe that there were some things that led up to that moment that really helped. We really felt like we needed to be able to run the football and try to wear them down to be able to beat them. And I think in the fourth quarter you saw some of that. Of course, that was a really good run there, and a really good job with the effort pushing in the end zone too.
Yeah.
You talk about physicality, that fourth down there at the end of the fourth quarter to kind of seal the deal for you guys. You guys didn't hesitate, and it seemed like you had trust that offensive line was going to be able to push the D-line back. What went into that decision?
Are you talking about the one on the 31?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, I think more than anything, just the feel of the game. And Coach Norvell, he was ready, and he trusted the offensive line, and they got it done. That was a really good feeling right there. And then we had the last one to put it away. I think it's 4th and 1.5, something like that. So that was real good to execute.
Chris?
How'd Tommy do as far as operating everything and just keeping you guys in rhythm and going?
Yeah, I thought Tommy did a great job, with being his first rodeo with new players around him, and a new system, even though that was true freshman. I mean, first games, you got to bring in so much volume of offense, like all the what ifs. That was probably the biggest challenge. Like we had to, if they play like this, we got these plays. If they play like this, we got these. And when you have that much volume from a quarterback standpoint, that's really hard. And I was real proud of the way he handled all the different things that go with that.
Peter?
Coach, we saw different running backs again. We rotating a lot with Waddell, with Keziah, Gavin, and we saw those things. Like, are you still like figuring out like which, as far as rotation goes, or is like whoever gets the hot hand?
Yeah, well, I think we had the plan to be specific on some different things that we wanted to see them do, and really the things that they've earned during the spring and fall camp right there. And so the good thing is we got numerous guys that we feel like can get the job done, and it was good. But you never know until you see them in that kind of situation how they respond. But we protected the football really well, and I think for the most part all of them ran with physicality.
Ira?
Tommy said that you guys were watching film the night before until 10 o'clock, and he's had so much going on this offseason in terms of, the chatter and different things. How was he in terms of being composed leading up to the game and then just handling the emotions?
Yeah, I thought he was really composed. The moment's not too big for him. I mean, I think he thrives in moments like that, and we got together and we just kind of watched the last 2 games they played last year, just to kind of, because when you're installing your game plan, all that, it was good to kind of catch our breath. Hey, let's go back, let's watch this defense court, how he thought the last 2 games, and they did some similar things like that. It was just more than anything their personnel, how they think, and it was just kind of fine tuning things that last night before.
Liam?
guys like Deuce and Randy, obviously they want to be catching the ball and making those kind of impact plays, but they were really impactful blocking. I think on Makai's touchdown, Deuce is downfield blocking a guy, Randy lays out a linebacker.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that commitment from those guys?
Yeah, that was real impressive. Each game unfolds differently. Some games you may throw it a whole lot more if they're giving it to you. Some games you run a lot more, but you have to be physical. You have to be team first, and I was real proud of the way that our guys did that. I mean, there's some things we need to do better, but you know, that's a really, really talented defense. And like I said, their defense coordinator, he's one of the best, you know, in the business.
Brendan?
Given the offensive line, you alluded to it, the lack of experience they had
Yeah.
together for most of the offseason. How do they do from a communications
I
standpoint?
thought they did a good job. I really did. I mean, you know, that was a stress of mine. I mean, coming in against that defensive front, like we hadn't had a lot of work together, you know, and so it takes a little bit of time, but I felt like they adjusted. The good thing is they're all really experienced. They played a lot of football, so they have a really good high football IQ, I would say. And our center did a great job of IDing the different things they were throwing at us. I mean, they did some really, really unique things right there to try to, you know, wad things up and try to get things bounced on the perimeter. But our guys, I mean, there's things, the little techniques, we worked on some corrections tonight, but for the most part, you know, it was pretty clean, at least with our IDs.
Peter?
Coach, with Makai Dancy scoring his first touchdown and also the way that he scored, it's not just everyone knows about his top world class speed, but his strength and his kind of get overshadowed a little bit. And he kind of showcased that stuff about how he just
Yeah, he's definitely a strong runner. I mean, you know, and he glides too. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And you know, we didn't have him, you know, in the spring, other than some meetings and some things. So it was really good. This fall camp's been super for him. And you know, I think you know you could see his role grow, you know, as the season goes. But I was real proud of him, and he played pretty good without the ball too. So he did some good things.
Chris?
What specific area or areas do you want the offense to take a big step in the next week?
Yeah, I think it's just big picture, you know, execution wise, and I need to do a better job too. I mean, there was some calls last night that weren't great against what they were doing. So I think we're still growing as an offense. We learned a lot about ourselves. I told the guys, you know, best offense I've ever been a part of. They improved from week 1 to week 2 more than they do any other part of the season, and that's what we have to do. It doesn't matter who we're playing, but so that's what we're going to be ready to do this week in practice.
Corey, for the last one?
Much, as an offensive coordinator running an offense, how much do you factor in a kid like Tommy's competitive spirit? And like if it's 3rd and 4, he seems like a kid that almost will do whatever it takes to get the 5 yards and get the touchdown.
Yeah, I tell you, you know, just from an offensive coordinator standpoint, when you have a quarterback like him, you have the freedom to call just about anything you want, and that's the confidence I have in him. And you know, he can make things right. Sometimes when things weren't right, there was a couple times things weren't right, and he made it right. And you're exactly right about his confidence and really the edge that he has.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.